Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we invite you into a peaceful corner of the universe, a place where familiar heroes gather to fight the darkness of the night. Thor, the Twilight War, far above Midgard, in the eternal skies of Asgard, the storm began to stir. Clouds, dark and menacing, rolled across the heavens, thick with a power that had not been felt for centuries. The winds howled like the cries of ancient warriors, and the air hummed with the tension of battles yet to be fought. Thor, the god of thunder, stood upon the edge of a mountain, Mjolnir in hand, his eyes fixed on the brewing tempest. There was something deeply wrong, something stirring in the cosmos that he could not yet see but could feel to his very core. Odin had sensed it first, a disturbance rippling through the fabric of the 9 realms. The All-Father had summoned Thor to the great halls of Valsjaf, his voice grave as he spoke of the visions granted to him by the all-seeing eye. The Norns, he said, seated upon his throne, have woven a dark thread into the tapestry of fate. The winds of prophecy blow once more. There is a battle coming, my son, one unlike any before it. You must be ready. Thor, his brow furrowed in concern, stood before his father in full battle armor. What is it, father? Another invasion of Asgard? A rebellion in one of the realms? Odin's eye, blazing with wisdom and authority, fixed upon Thor. Nay, this time the threat does not come from a single realm. A power greater than we have faced is at work. Villains long thought dormant, scattered across time and space, now gather under a banner not of their own making. Something stirs them, something that even I cannot yet see. Thor's grip tightened on Mjolnir. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily upon him, but it was a burden he had borne many times before. He nodded solemnly, his resolve steeling. Then I will seek them out, father. I will find this darkness and put an end to it before it can take root. Odin rose from his throne, his massive form casting a shadow across the hall. You will not do this alone, Thor. The fate of the 9 realms does not rest upon your shoulders alone. The Avengers, your allies in Midgard, must be warned, and Asgard must prepare for war. Thor bowed before his father, knowing the gravity of what was to come. He left the throne room, his mind already racing with the possibilities of who could be behind such a gathering of villains. Loki, his treacherous brother, had long been a thorn in his side, but this did not feel like Loki's doing. There was a greater malice here, a cold and calculated force moving behind the scenes. As he descended from the golden halls of Valsjaf, Thor was greeted by the familiar sight of Heimdall, the guardian of the Bifrost, standing ever vigilant at his post. Heimdall's golden armor gleamed under the pale light of the Asgardian skies, and his sword, Hofund, rested at his side. Heimdall, Thor called as he approached, have you seen aught through your watchful eyes? My father speaks of a gathering threat. Heimdall's gaze remained fixed on the horizon, his eyes glowing with the sight of all the realms. I see much, Thor. The realms tremble, though they know not why. Dark forces move in shadow, beyond the eyes of even the Norns. But there is one thing I have seen, something that may be of interest to you. In the far reaches of space, beyond the stars of Midgard, a ship approaches. It bears a familiar power, Loki's power. Thor's heart quickened at the mention of his brother's name. Loki? Here? What treachery does he plot this time? Heimdall turned to face Thor, his expression unreadable. That is for you to discover, Thunderer. But beware, Loki is not the only one moving in the darkness. There are others, beings whose power rivals even that of Asgard. Without another word, Thor stepped upon the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge that connected Asgard to the realms beyond. Take me to Midgard, Heimdall, Thor commanded. The Bifrost roared to life, its energies swirling around him in a brilliant display of color and light. In an instant, Thor was hurled through the cosmos, the stars blurring around him as he made his way to Earth. Midgard was calm, but Thor knew that this peace would not last. The Avengers Tower stood tall amidst the skyline of New York City, a beacon of hope for humanity. As Thor descended from the sky, landing atop the tower with a thunderous crack, he was greeted by familiar faces: Tony Stark, Captain America, Black Widow, and the Hulk, all assembled in the tower's war room. "Thor," Tony said, arms crossed, his face serious. "We were just talking about you. Strange readings coming in from deep space. Something big is happening out there." Thor nodded. And it is not just space that stirs. Asgard feels it too. My father speaks of a prophecy, a gathering of powerful enemies. We must be prepared." Steve Rogers, ever the tactician, stepped forward. "Do we know who or what we're dealing with?" "Not yet," Thor replied. "But Loki is involved. Heimdall has seen his approach. I fear my brother is once again at the heart of this storm." Tony sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Loki, again? That guy never gives up. Does he?" "Whatever it is," Steve said, "we'll face it together. But we need more intel. If Loki is just the tip of the iceberg, we could be looking at something big." Thor's gaze darkened. "There is more. My father believes that even Loki may be a pawn in this game. Forces greater than we have faced before are at work. Dr. Doom, Thanos, and others who possess unimaginable power may be involved." The room grew silent. The names Thor spoke carried weight, each one a villain capable of bringing entire worlds to their knees. "Then we prepare for war," Steve said, his voice steady. "Thor, if Asgard is under threat, we'll need to coordinate with your forces. Tony, can we get a read on Loki's ship?" "Already on it," Tony said, tapping at a holographic display. "Jarvis is tracking its trajectory. We should know more in a few hours." "Good," Thor said, his voice low and resolute. "The storm is coming, my friends, and when it arrives, we will face it together." As the Avengers began their preparations, Thor stood alone for a moment, staring out across the city below. The storm was still brewing in the skies, but it was no longer just an omen. It was a promise of battle, of war, and of sacrifices yet to be made. Far beyond the reach of mortal sight, in the dim recesses of forgotten realms, Loki sat upon a throne of ice. His emerald eyes glinted in the darkness, cold and calculating. Around him, the barren land of Jotunheim stretched endlessly, the home of the frost giants, his true heritage. Though Loki had always preferred the opulence of Asgard or the chaos of Midgard, it was here, in the frozen wastes of his birthplace, that he now plodded. His hands, delicate yet dangerous, caressed the ancient stone of a map etched into the icy floor, a relic from the dawn of time itself. He was not alone. Across from him stood a figure cloaked in shadow, the face obscured by a deep hood. Loki smiled to himself, pleased with how easily his guest had come to him. There were few in the universe who could command the presence of such a being, but Loki, the god of mischief, had an unnatural talent for bending even the most powerful to his will. "You've come as I knew you would," Loki said, his voice smooth as silk, the echo of it carried on the cold winds. The figure stepped forward, and as the light from the few flickering torches in the cavern revealed the face beneath the hood, the coldness of Jotunheim seemed to deepen. It was Mephisto, the Lord of Hell, his crimson skin and devilish grin unmistakable. His eyes burned with an infernal light, and his presence alone made the ice crack beneath his feet. "Loki," Mephisto hissed, "what is it that you want? Summoning me to this forsaken realm. It must be something of great importance for me to leave my domain. Loki stood, his lean form draped in dark green and gold, his face betraying nothing but amusement. I offer you something more valuable than even your wretched kingdom, he said, walking toward the demon lord. I offer you power beyond the mortal soul, beyond the reach of any realm, including your own. Mephisto's grin widened, but his eyes remained suspicious. You speak of power, yet I see only a trickster who has failed time and again to claim a throne. Why should I listen to you? Loki's smile never faltered. He waved his hand, and from the shadows, several more figures emerged, their footsteps as silent as death. First came Thanos, the mad titan, his massive form towering over all others, his dark eyes glowing with cold intent. Behind him stood the Enchantress, her beauty as deadly as her magic, her golden hair flowing around her like a shimmering halo. Dr. Doom, clad in his indomitable armor, remained silent, his face concealed beneath the iron mask that struck fear into even the bravest hearts. They had all come at Loki's call. You see, Mephisto, Loki continued, his voice as smooth as the ice beneath their feet. You are not alone in your desires. Each of us here seeks dominion over the realms, and together we can take what has been denied us for too long. Thanos crossed his arms, his deep voice rumbling like thunder. Speak plainly, Loki. I did not come here for games. Loki inclined his head, acknowledging the mad titan's impatience. Very well. Our goal is Yggdrasil, the world tree that binds the realms together. Its roots touch every corner of the universe. Its branches stretch across all of existence. If we control Yggdrasil, we control fate itself. We can remake the universe in our image. The Enchantress stepped forward, her green eyes narrowing. And what is it that you want, Loki? You have never shared power easily. Loki's smile twisted into something darker. I desire Asgard as I always have. With Yggdrasil under my control, I will rule the 9 realms. But the rest of the universe, that is for you to divide as you see fit. Dr. Doom, who had remained silent until now, finally spoke, his voice cold and calculating. The world tree is ancient. Its power is beyond anything we have ever encountered. To tap into it would require more than just brute strength. What is your plan? Loki turned, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. Ah, Doom, ever the pragmatist. You are correct. Yggdrasil cannot simply be seized. It is bound by ancient magic, protected by forces beyond even the gods. But there is a key, a way to unlock its secrets. And that key lies in Asgard. Thanos' gaze sharpened. What key? Loki gestured toward the heavens. The casket of ancient winters. It holds the power of an eternal winter, the same force that nearly destroyed Asgard centuries ago. With it, we can freeze Yggdrasil's defenses, shatter its wards, and claim the power within. Mephisto's eyes gleamed with infernal fire. And where is this casket now? In Odin's vault, Loki replied, guarded by the All-Father himself. But Odin grows weak, his power fading with each passing day. Soon, he will enter the Odin sleep, and when he does, Asgard will be vulnerable. The room fell into a tense silence as each of the villains considered Loki's plan. The idea of seizing Yggdrasil's power was intoxicating, but the risks were great. If they failed, they would face the wrath of not only Odin, but Thor and the entire Asgardian army. Yet the rewards were beyond anything they had ever dreamed of. Doom, ever the strategist, spoke first. You speak of Asgard's weakness, but Thor remains a threat. He must be dealt with before any assault on Odin's vault can be made. Loki's eyes gleamed with malice. Leave Thor to me. I know my brother better than anyone. He is predictable, and his loyalty to Asgard will be his downfall. I will lead him away from Asgard, distract him long enough for us to strike." Thanos remained silent, his mind calculating the possibilities. He had no love for Loki, nor did he trust him, but the power of Yggdrasil was too tempting to ignore. If what Loki said was true, the World Tree would give him dominion over all life in the universe. His dream of ultimate control could finally be realized. "Very well," Thanos said at last. "I will join you, but know this, Loki. If you betray me, I will see you destroyed, god or not." Loki smiled, bowing his head slightly. "I would expect nothing less from you, Thanos." The enchantress, her eyes filled with desire for power and vengeance, stepped forward. "I will have my share of the spoils, Loki. I have waited too long to see Asgard fall." Loki nodded. "And fall it shall, my dear enchantress." Mephisto, ever the opportunist, laughed softly. "I will join this little game. The souls I will claim from this conquest will be worth the risk." Doom remained silent, his mind already working through the details of the plan. He had no interest in sharing power with the likes of Thanos or Mephisto, but for now they were useful. He would play along, but when the time came, he would take what was rightfully his. With their alliance sealed, the villains began to move. Loki, ever the puppet master, orchestrated their efforts from behind the scenes, careful to keep his true intentions hidden. As they gathered their forces and prepared for the assault on Asgard, the shadow of their plans stretched across the cosmos. The darkness they gathered was unlike anything the realms had ever seen, and soon it would be unleashed upon the universe. In the far reaches of space, on a barren world lit only by the faint glow of dying stars, a great ship drifted silently through the void. Within, a throne sat empty, but not for long. Thanos, seated in quiet contemplation, watched as the stars passed by. The Infinity Gauntlet lay before him, its power diminished but not destroyed. He did not need it for this task. The power of Yggdrasil would soon be his, and with it, the universe would once again fall at his feet. As the ship neared its destination, Thanos rose. His mind, filled with visions of conquest, briefly wandered to Thor, the god who had so often stood in his way. But not this time. This time Thor would fall, and with him the last hope of the 9 realms. The golden spires of Asgard gleamed under the twilight sky as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the vast expanse of the city. The realm, always a bastion of peace and beauty, was now shrouded in an uneasy quiet. The air was thick with anticipation, the calm before the storm. Thor, ever vigilant, stood upon the edge of the great hall, his eyes scanning the distance. His heart pounded with a foreboding sense of dread. Asgard's defenses were formidable, a web of magic and might that had repelled countless threats. Yet, the forces gathering on the horizon were unlike anything Thor had faced before. From his vantage point, he could see dark clouds gathering, swirling with unnatural speed. Lightning crackled within them, casting eerie illuminations upon the landscape. Thor turned to his assembled warriors, each readying for the impending battle. The valiant warriors of Asgard, clad in their shining armor, stood at attention, their faces set with grim determination. Thor's trusted allies, Sif, the fierce warrior woman, the steadfast warriors 3, Fandral, Hogun, and Volstagg, and the wise and battle-hardened Heimdall, were all prepared for the coming conflict. The moment of calm shattered with a deafening roar. The Bifrost Bridge, that shimmering rainbow pathway connecting Asgard to the other realms, erupted in a blaze of light as it was torn open. From the rift emerged a formidable army, led by the most dreaded of foes. The Frost Giants, their massive forms clad in armor forged of ice and stone, poured forth from the cold wastelands of Jotunheim. Their icy breath turned the very air into frost, and their war cries echoed with the promise of destruction. Following closely were the hordes of fire giants, led by Surtur himself. His enormous frame blazed with hellfire, and the ground shook with each step he took. With him were his fiery minions, their red-hot forms crackling with destructive energy. They were followed by a more sinister force, the demons and creatures conjured by Mephisto, their presence radiating dark magic that twisted the air and soured the land. The clash began with a thunderous impact as the armies collided. Thor, Mjolnir held high, charged into the fray. The god of thunder's arrival was heralded by a mighty crash of lightning that split the sky, and with a mighty swing of his enchanted hammer, he sent a wave of frost giants sprawling. The ice giants, powerful though they were, found themselves no match for Thor's might. Sif and the warriors three fought valiantly beside Thor, their movements synchronized in a deadly dance of steel. Sif's blade cut through enemies with grace and precision, her combat skills a testament to her reputation as one of Asgard's finest warriors. Fandrel's agility and swordsmanship dazzled as he darted among foes, while Hogun's brute strength and Volstag's sheer size were a terrifying sight for their enemies. The three fought side by side, their camaraderie evident in every swing and strike. The battle on Asgard's borders was a cacophony of clashing metal and roaring magic. Heimdall, stationed at the Bifrost Bridge, engaged in a fierce combat with Ulik the Troll, a giant warrior who had sworn to see Asgard's downfall. Heimdall's eyes, ever watchful, tracked Ulik's every movement, and though the troll's brute strength was formidable, Heimdall's skill and precision allowed him to hold his ground. Meanwhile, the fire giants and their fiery minions surged towards Asgard's grand halls. The intense heat from Surtur's fiery form was unbearable, and the heat waves distorted the air. The fire giants were relentless, their fire magic burning and consuming everything in their path. Thor, recognizing the danger, fought his way through the ranks, his every strike a counter to the inferno that sought to engulf his home. Dr. Doom, hidden amidst the chaos, observed the battle from a distance. His armored form was impervious to the harsh conditions, and he remained a silent observer, calculating his next move. Doom's plan was not to engage directly but to exploit the chaos for his own advantage. His eyes, cold and calculating, were focused on the battle, searching for the right moment to strike. The skies above Asgard were filled with the roiling clouds of war, and the once peaceful city was now a battleground. The clash between Thor and Surtur was particularly fierce. Surtur's flame-wreathed sword clashed against Mjolnir in a series of devastating blows. The heat from Surtur's fire and the cold of the frost giant's breath created a volatile mix, making the battlefield a treacherous place. As Thor and Surtur fought, the ground beneath them cracked and splintered. Thor's thunderous strikes were met with Surtur's fiery swings, each blow sending shockwaves that reverberated through the very fabric of Asgard. The skies darkened further, illuminated only by the periodic bursts of lightning and fire that erupted from their battle. In the midst of the chaos, the demons summoned by Mephisto wreaked havoc. Their dark magic corrupted the very land they trod upon, turning green meadows into fields of shadows and despair. Their presence added a layer of dark magic to the already chaotic battle, making the fighting even more brutal and unpredictable. Thor's forces, though outnumbered, fought with unparalleled bravery. The warriors of Asgard held their ground, their resolve unwavering even as the odds seemed overwhelming. They fought not just for their realm but for each other, their unity a beacon of hope in the storm of war. The battle raged on through the night, the sky lit by the fires of conflict and the crackling energy of magic. As dawn approached, the warriors of Asgard, though weary and battered, had managed to repel the initial wave of the invaders. The cost was high. Many of Asgard's defenders lay wounded, and the city bore the scars of the battle. Thor, standing amidst the ruins of what was once a vibrant expanse of his home, looked upon the battlefield with a heavy heart. The victory was theirs for the moment, but the threat had only just begun. The enemies had been fierce, but Thor knew that the true test lay ahead. The gathering darkness that had heralded this battle was far from over, and the coming days would bring challenges unlike any Asgard had faced before. With the battle won, albeit at a great cost, Thor knew he had but a brief respite. The war was far from over, and the real struggle was yet to come. The threat loomed larger, the villain's schemes more intricate. As the sun rose over the horizon, Thor gathered his forces and prepared for the next stage of the conflict, knowing that the true fight was just beginning. The skies over Midgard were a bleak canvas of storm clouds, dark and menacing, as if foretelling the calamity that was about to unfold. The calm that had settled over New York City, following the battle on Asgard's borders, was a deceptive lull. Thor had returned to Earth, seeking to fortify the defenses of his allies and to strategize for the trials ahead. Little did he know that the storm brewing in the heavens was more than a mere meteorological phenomenon. It was a harbinger of destruction. In the shadowed corners of the universe, the villain's plans were coming to fruition. Loki, Mephisto, Thanos, and the others had set their plans into motion. Their alliance, forged in the cold heart of Jotunheim, had been meticulous in its execution. While Asgard had fought valiantly, their true target was yet to be revealed. The attack on Midgard was a strategic move, a means to destabilize the Avengers and draw Thor into a fatal trap. The first sign of impending doom came as a series of cataclysmic events unfolded across the globe. Cities from New York to Tokyo experienced simultaneous power failures. Communications were severed, and chaos reigned. Panic spread like wildfire as people were plunged into darkness. The cause of the disruptions was unknown, but the shadows that lingered on the fringes of this chaos were not. Mephisto's demons, having infiltrated the realms of man, were sowing discord and preparing the stage for their masters. Thor and the Avengers were alerted to these disturbances, their initial confusion giving way to grim realization. Tony Stark, analyzing the disruptions from his high-tech lab, discovered a pattern in the chaos. The power failures and strange phenomena were not random. They were orchestrated. Jarvis, Stark's AI assistant, traced the disturbances to a series of spatial anomalies, portals being opened by dark magic. As Tony relayed his findings to the team, the room was filled with a tense silence. "Something big is coming," Tony said, his face illuminated by the glow of his screens. "These anomalies are connected to Mephisto's magic. If we don't act fast, Midgard will be overrun." The Avengers, having faced many challenges before, braced themselves for the impending attack. Thor, standing tall among them, knew that their next move would be crucial. "We must prepare for the worst," he said. "I fear that we are not dealing with a mere invasion, but with a planned assault designed to break our spirits." Without warning, the sky erupted with blinding light as Thanos' massive warship descended upon Earth. The ship was a colossal construct, its dark, menacing form dominating the skyline. From the ship, a fleet of smaller crafts began to deploy, each carrying the dark forces of their allies. The fire giants, led by Surtur, emerged first, their fiery forms blazing against the dark clouds. Following them were the frost giants, their icy presence a chilling contrast to the inferno of their counterparts. Midgard's defenses, though robust, were quickly overwhelmed. The initial wave of invaders struck with relentless ferocity. Surtur's fire giants ignited entire city blocks, turning them into infernos. The frost giants, with their sheer strength and icy breath, wreaked havoc upon the infrastructure, freezing roads and causing buildings to collapse under the weight of their assault. The Avengers, mobilized to defend the city, confronted the invasion head-on. Thor, wielding Mjolnir, fought valiantly against the fire giants, his lightning strikes piercing through the flames and driving back the advancing forces. Captain America, leading his team, coordinated the defense with precision, his shield deflecting fiery projectiles and enemy attacks. Black Widow and Hawkeye worked together, using their skills in espionage and archery to take down key targets and disrupt the invaders' formations. Amidst the chaos, Loki's schemes began to unfold. The trickster god, ever the master of deceit, had orchestrated a cunning plan. With his allies in place, Loki initiated a powerful ritual to tap into the chaos and amplify the destruction. His dark magic spread across the city, further destabilizing the defenses and plunging the battlefield into deeper turmoil. As the battle raged on, the city was transformed into a war zone. The streets of New York were engulfed in flames and ice, the skies choked with smoke and debris. The heroes fought with every ounce of their strength, but the sheer scale of the invasion made it a desperate struggle. The devastation was immense. Buildings crumbled, fires raged uncontrollably, and countless lives were put at risk. Dr. Doom, seizing the opportunity amidst the chaos, revealed himself to be a key player in the assault. His armor, impervious to the elemental forces around him, allowed him to navigate the battlefield with ease. Doom's technological prowess and mastery of dark sorcery made him a formidable opponent. He targeted key infrastructures and engaged in direct combat with the Avengers, his intellect and strategy a dangerous counterpoint to their raw power. The tide of battle seemed to turn against the Avengers as the invaders' forces continued their relentless assault. Thanos, observing the chaos from his ship, saw the fruits of their labor manifesting. The power they sought to unleash was within reach, and the collapse of Midgard's defenses was a crucial part of their plan. Thor, despite his formidable strength and determination, found himself struggling to hold back the combined might of the invaders. The fire giant's flames and the frost giant's icy assault created a vicious cycle of destruction. His efforts to rally the Avengers and push back the invaders were met with mixed results. The heroes fought bravely, but their numbers were thinning, and the destruction wrought upon the city was overwhelming. In the midst of the battle, Loki's ritual reached its climax. The ground shook as dark energies converged upon a central point, a nexus of chaos that had been carefully crafted to amplify the dark magic. The rift created by Loki's spell began to draw upon the forces of the invasion, merging them into a singular, cataclysmic force. Thor, sensing the escalating danger, made a desperate move. He called upon the full might of Mjolnir, unleashing a powerful storm that surged through the skies. Lightning crackled and thunder roared as Thor fought to counter the dark energies. The battle reached its peak as the sky was illuminated by an intense, blinding light. Amidst the climactic struggle, Thor managed to strike a significant blow against Loki's ritual. The force of his attack disrupted the spell, causing a violent backlash that sent shockwaves through the battlefield. The dark magic dissipated, and the rift began to close. However, the damage was done. Midgard had suffered immense losses, and the city lay in ruins. As the dust settled and the invaders retreated, the scale of the devastation became clear. New York City, once a bustling metropolis, was now a shadow of its former self. The streets were littered with debris, and the damage to buildings was extensive. The Avengers, though victorious, were left to grapple with the aftermath of the invasion. Thor stood amidst the ruins, his heart heavy with the weight of their losses. The battle had been fierce, and the cost had been great. Midgard had been struck hard, and the true scope of the villain's plans had been revealed. The fall of Midgard was a devastating blow, but it was also a call to action. The heroes would need to regroup, heal, and prepare for the next phase of the conflict. The fall of Midgard marked a turning point in the battle against the darkness that had gathered. It was a stark reminder of the stakes involved and the challenges that lay ahead. The Avengers, though battered, were more determined than ever. They would face the threats head-on, and with the strength of their unity, they would fight to reclaim their world and protect the realms from the gathering darkness. In the aftermath of the devastating battle on Midgard, the Avengers and their allies faced the grim task of recovery. New York City lay in ruins, its skyline marred by the scars of war. The heroes, though victorious in repelling the initial invasion, were left to grapple with the enormity of the destruction and the losses they had sustained. Amidst the rubble, Thor and the Avengers convened to strategize their next move. The devastation wrought by the invaders had been a critical blow, and the forces of darkness were still very much a threat. As they gathered in the makeshift command center, a sense of urgency permeated the room. The team was weary, but their resolve remained unshaken. The battle had shown the true scale of their enemy's power and the need for a decisive counteroffensive. Dr. Doom, who had been conspicuously absent during the battle, made his appearance. His arrival was met with mixed reactions. While he was known for his complex motivations and shifting alliances, there was an expectation that he might lend his considerable intellect and resources to the fight against the greater threat. Instead, Doom's demeanor was enigmatic and his intentions unclear. The gathering was tense as Doom addressed the team. He spoke with a calm authority, his voice resonating with the confidence of someone who had always been a master of strategy and manipulation. Doom presented a plan that seemed almost too fortuitous, a way to strike back at their enemies using a device he had developed, a machine capable of amplifying Thor's lightning to unprecedented levels. Thor was skeptical but also intrigued. The idea of harnessing such power to turn the tide of the battle was appealing. Doom's offer came with a catch. He requested access to Asgardian artifacts and knowledge, citing that the success of the plan required precise calibration and the integration of ancient magical elements. As the Avengers debated Doom's proposal, Thor remained cautious. His instincts told him that Doom's involvement might come with hidden motives. Nonetheless, the immediate need for a solution to the ongoing threat pushed them to consider Doom's plans seriously. In the secrecy of his laboratory, Dr. Doom worked on the device with meticulous precision. He integrated elements of Asgardian magic, the most potent spells and relics, to enhance the device's capabilities. Doom's technical prowess combined with dark sorcery created a machine of immense power, one that could potentially turn the tide of the war. As Doom worked, a subtle but significant change occurred in the atmosphere. The mood among the Avengers shifted from hope to unease. Subtle signs of Doom's duplicity began to surface. His secrecy about the specifics of the machine and the frequent, unaccounted for absences raised suspicions. Yet, the team remained focused on their primary goal, reluctant to lose the opportunity for a significant advantage. The day of reckoning arrived as the machine neared completion. Dr. Doom invited the Avengers to witness its activation. The heroes assembled in the lab, their anticipation mingled with apprehension. Doom, clad in his imposing armor, stood before the machine, which hummed with arcane energy and technological brilliance. As Doom initiated the sequence to activate the device, the atmosphere became charged with electricity. The machine's core glowed with a brilliant light, and Thor, standing ready to channel his lightning through it, prepared for the demonstration. The plan was straightforward. Thor would unleash a concentrated bolt of lightning, which the machine would amplify to a level capable of devastating their enemies. But as Thor raised Mjolnir and summoned the storm, the machine did something unexpected. The amplification was not just directed at the invaders, but was redirected in a manner that targeted the very fabric of reality itself. The energy surged wildly, creating a vortex of destructive power that threatened to tear through the dimensions. In a shocking twist, it became clear that Doom's true intention was not to aid the Avengers, but to exploit the situation for his gain. The machine's malfunction, whether by design or unforeseen consequence, created a catastrophic breach in the dimensional barriers. The vortex pulled in everything around it, threatening to consume the lab and anyone in its vicinity. Thor, realizing the danger, sprang into action. He called upon his full strength, using Mjolnir to counteract the rogue energy. The battle within the lab was intense. Thor fought against the destructive forces unleashed by the malfunctioning device. His lightning clashed with the machine's chaotic energy, creating a dazzling display of power. Doom, though initially appearing to struggle with the situation, revealed his true nature. He used the chaos to cover his escape, leaving behind a trail of destruction and betrayal. As the vortex grew, Doom's departure was marked by a final, contemptuous gesture, a demonstration of his unyielding self-interest and disregard for the consequences of his actions. The Avengers, now faced with the dual challenge of containing the breach and dealing with Doom's treachery, worked desperately to stabilize the situation. Thor's efforts to manage the energy proved only partially successful. The dimensional rift continued to pulse with dangerous energy, threatening to destabilize reality further. As the Avengers struggled to contain the fallout, Doom's betrayal became a point of profound betrayal and anger. His manipulation had not only put their immediate plans in jeopardy, but had also compromised the safety of Midgard and Asgard. The realization of Doom's treachery underscored the gravity of their predicament and the necessity of finding a new way to counter the threats they faced. In the aftermath of the incident, the Avengers were left to deal with the remnants of the breach. The lab lay in ruins, the machine a twisted wreck of its former self. The immediate threat of the dimensional vortex was contained, but the scars of Doom's betrayal lingered. The heroes' focus shifted from the immediate repairs to the larger implications of the attack. Dr. Doom's betrayal had not only undermined their efforts, but had also served as a stark reminder of the perils of misplaced trust and the complexity of the alliances they formed. The Avengers, though battered and disheartened, were resolved to push forward. They would need to regroup, address the breach, and reassess their strategies. As they began to rebuild and recover, the shadow of Doom's betrayal loomed large. The heroes knew that they could not afford any more surprises or setbacks. With renewed determination, they set their sights on the next phase of their battle, a confrontation with the forces of darkness that still threatened their world. The road ahead was fraught with challenges, but the Avengers were prepared to face them, united in their quest to protect their realms and bring an end to the growing darkness. As the echoes of Dr. Doom's betrayal still reverberated through the shattered remains of New York City, a new threat emerged, one that was both cosmic and ancient. The Avengers, reeling from the aftermath of the battle, found themselves facing a crisis that transcended the confines of Midgard. Their attention was drawn to Yggdrasil, the World Tree, a colossal and sacred entity that connected the 9 realms. Its roots and branches stretched across the fabric of reality, linking Asgard, Midgard, and the other realms in a delicate balance of cosmic harmony. The disturbance in Yggdrasil's equilibrium was not a mere tremor but a full-blown assault. The forces of darkness, having regrouped and fortified their positions, targeted Yggdrasil as the linchpin of their ultimate plan. The objective was clear: to seize control of the World Tree and use its power to plunge all realms into chaos. Thor, with his allies, became aware of the threat when Heimdall, stationed at the Bifrost Bridge, detected a surge of dark energy emanating from the World Tree. Heimdall's eyes, ever vigilant, had seen the ominous signs of the encroaching darkness. He warned Thor and the Avengers that Yggdrasil was under siege and that the stability of all realms was at risk. In Asgard, Thor rallied his forces. The urgency of the situation demanded immediate action. Sif, the Warriors Three, and other Asgardian warriors prepared for a journey to Yggdrasil. They knew that the World Tree's defense was paramount, not only for the survival of Asgard but for the entire cosmic order. The journey to Yggdrasil was fraught with challenges. The path was fraught with obstacles created by the invaders, who had conjured formidable barriers and traps to thwart any attempts to reach the World Tree. The Avengers, alongside Thor and his Asgardian allies, traversed these dangers with a combination of skill and determination. The landscape was marred by ruptures in reality, and demonic forces sought to impede their progress. Upon reaching Yggdrasil, the scene that unfolded was one of apocalyptic magnitude. The World Tree, usually a symbol of eternal life and balance, was under assault by an army of dark entities. Led by the powerful sorceress Hela, the goddess of death, and her dark legion of undead warriors, the invasion sought to corrupt and control the sacred tree. Hela's presence was a harbinger of doom. Clad in her dark, ethereal armor and wielding her menacing sword, she commanded the forces of death with an iron will. Her undead warriors, animated by dark magic, surged forward with a relentless hunger for destruction. Their skeletal forms were nearly impervious to conventional attacks, making them formidable foes. The battle for Yggdrasil was a clash of epic proportions. Thor and his allies engaged Hela's forces in a desperate struggle to protect the World Tree. The clash of steel and magic resonated through the realms as the heroes fought to stave off the encroaching darkness. Thor's lightning crackled through the air, striking down undead warriors with each thunderous blow. Mjolnir's power was a beacon of hope amidst the surrounding chaos. Sif and the Warriors Three fought valiantly, their skills and bravery shining through as they cut down Hela's minions. Sif's precision and agility, Fandrel's swiftness with his blade, Hogun's raw strength, and Volstag's sheer force were a testament to their prowess. They held the line, pushing back against the relentless tide of undead. Meanwhile, Hela's dark magic sought to corrupt Yggdrasil's roots. The very essence of the World Tree was under siege, and if the corruption continued, the consequences for all realms would be catastrophic. Thor realized that a direct assault on Hela and her dark magic was necessary to halt the corruption and save Yggdrasil. The confrontation between Thor and Hela was a battle of cosmic proportions. The goddess of death wielded formidable necromantic powers, conjuring dark spells that twisted the very fabric of reality. Her attacks were a blend of dark energy and necromancy, creating a surreal battlefield where the laws of nature were bent to her will. Thor fought with unparalleled ferocity, his lightning strikes clashing against Hela's dark magic. The battle was not just physical but also a contest of wills. Thor's resolve and strength were tested to their limits as he faced Hela's relentless assault. His every strike was aimed not just at defeating Hela but at restoring the balance of Yggdrasil and preventing further corruption. In the midst of the battle, the Avengers and Asgardian forces worked together to counteract the corruption spreading through Yggdrasil. Doctor Strange, who had joined the fight, used his mystical knowledge to stabilize the magical disturbances caused by Hela's dark spells. His spells created protective barriers around the World Tree's roots, countering the corruptive effects of Hela's magic. Despite their best efforts, the battle was not without its losses. The intensity of the conflict took a toll on the heroes. The undead armies and the relentless power of Hela's dark magic were overwhelming, and the fight for Yggdrasil pushed the Avengers and their allies to the brink. The World Tree itself showed signs of strain, its once vibrant glow dimming under the weight of the corruption. As the battle reached its climax, Thor made a critical decision. He called upon the full power of Mjolnir, channeling every ounce of his strength and the divine energy of Asgard. His final assault was a cataclysmic burst of lightning and thunder, a storm that surged with the fury of the cosmos. The sheer force of his attack created a shockwave that pushed back Hela's dark magic and shattered the undead legions. Hela, caught off guard by the intensity of Thor's final strike, was forced to retreat. Her dark magic, overwhelmed by the raw power of Thor's assault, faltered. The undead forces disintegrated, their forms crumbling into dust as the corruption receded from Yggdrasil's roots. With Hela's defeat, the immediate threat to Yggdrasil was quelled. The world tree began to heal, its once dim glow slowly returning to its former brilliance. The heroes, though exhausted and battered, had managed to avert a catastrophic disaster. The balance of the realms was restored, but the battle had left its mark. As the dust settled, the heroes gathered around Yggdrasil, their faces reflecting a mixture of relief and weariness. The battle had been a grueling test of their strength and unity, but it had also highlighted the unyielding resolve of the Avengers and their allies. They had faced darkness and emerged victorious, but the challenges ahead remained formidable. Thor, looking upon the restored world tree, knew that their struggle was far from over. The enemies they faced were powerful and cunning, and the threats to all realms were far from extinguished. Yet, the victory at Yggdrasil was a testament to their resilience and a symbol of hope. With the immediate danger averted, the Avengers and their allies began to plan their next move. They knew that the forces of darkness were still at large and that their battle was far from over. But the triumph at Yggdrasil had strengthened their resolve and reaffirmed their commitment to protecting the realms from the encroaching shadows. As the Avengers and their allies recovered from the battle for Yggdrasil, a new and even more formidable threat loomed on the horizon. The victory at the World Tree had provided a momentary respite, but the tranquility was shattered by the appearance of a cosmic entity whose very presence signaled a cataclysmic event. This entity was none other than Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. Galactus, a being of immense power and cosmic significance, had long been a force of dread across the universe. Known for his insatiable hunger for planetary energies, his arrival heralded destruction on an unimaginable scale. His appearance was not subtle. It was accompanied by a wave of cosmic energy that rippled through the fabric of space and time. The sheer gravity of his presence was felt across the realms, from Asgard to Midgard and beyond. The first signs of Galactus's approach were visible through the disturbances in the cosmic balance. Astronomers and mystics across the realms reported anomalies in the fabric of space, with celestial phenomena appearing out of sync. Stars flickered erratically, and the skies darkened as if in anticipation of a coming storm. The cosmic disturbances grew more pronounced, drawing the attention of Thor and the Avengers, who were still reeling from their recent battle. Thor, sensing the gravity of the situation, sought the counsel of the most knowledgeable beings available. Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, and the Asgardian seers were consulted to gain insight into the nature of the impending threat. The combined wisdom revealed that Galactus was on a path towards Earth, driven by his insatiable hunger and the weakened state of the cosmos after recent conflicts. The Avengers, now acutely aware of the enormity of the threat, began preparations for what was likely to be an unprecedented confrontation. The team was assembled, including Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Doctor Strange, among others. They knew that facing Galactus required not just strength, but a profound understanding of his nature and the most strategic approach to counter his destructive hunger. Galactus's arrival was nothing short of apocalyptic. The very air seemed to crackle with raw energy as his colossal form breached the upper atmosphere. His appearance was a sight of cosmic grandeur and terror, a massive, towering figure clad in armor that glowed with an otherworldly light. His eyes, two fiery orbs, surveyed the world with a sense of detached purpose. Accompanied by his herald, the Silver Surfer, who had long served as his forerunner, Galactus descended upon Earth with a sense of inevitability. The Silver Surfer, though a being of immense power himself, was a mere extension of Galactus's will. His role was to scout and prepare worlds for his master's consumption. As Galactus approached, the Silver Surfer soared through the sky, his surfboard gliding effortlessly as he communicated the dire news of Galactus's arrival to the Avengers. His message was clear. Galactus intended to consume Earth's energy, and there was little time to prevent the impending catastrophe. The Avengers, despite their extensive preparations, found themselves dwarfed by the enormity of Galactus's presence. The sheer scale of the cosmic entity was beyond any threat they had faced before. The heroes gathered to formulate a plan, their discussions marked by a sense of urgency and gravity. They recognized that their traditional methods of combat would be insufficient against such a cosmic force, and that they needed to combine their strengths and resources in unprecedented ways. Doctor Strange, drawing upon his vast knowledge of mysticism and arcane arts, suggested a plan that involved not just physical combat, but also magical intervention. He proposed using ancient spells and artifacts to bolster their defenses and potentially find a way to repel or mitigate Galactus's influence. Meanwhile, Iron Man and his team of technologists worked on devising a device capable of generating a localized energy field, hoping to create a barrier that could resist the cosmic hunger of Galactus. The confrontation with Galactus was imminent. The Avengers established a defensive perimeter around the major population centers, particularly New York City, where they anticipated the initial point of impact. The city's skyline, once a symbol of human achievement, now stood as the front line of an epic struggle against cosmic annihilation. As Galactus descended, his immense form overshadowed the city. His presence was accompanied by a series of tremors that shook the ground and sky. The Avengers, alongside their allies, took their positions. Thor wielded Mjolnir, his thunder and lightning crackling as he prepared to engage Galactus. Iron Man's suit, enhanced with the latest technology, was armed with weaponry designed to withstand cosmic forces. Doctor Strange cast protective wards and spells to shield the city and the heroes from the worst of Galactus's power. The battle began with a cataclysmic clash. Galactus's energy blasts, unleashed with terrifying force, collided with the Avengers' defenses. The sky was illuminated by bursts of cosmic power, creating a dazzling and deadly spectacle. Thor and the Avengers fought valiantly, their combined efforts creating a flickering shield against the relentless onslaught. Despite their best efforts, it soon became apparent that Galactus's power was overwhelming. His energy attacks breached their defenses, and the Avengers struggled to hold their ground. The Silver Surfer, though initially an adversary, showed signs of conflict within him. His loyalty to Galactus was tested by the suffering he witnessed and the pleas of the Avengers. As the battle raged, the Silver Surfer wavered, torn between his duty and his growing empathy for the people he once viewed as insignificant. In the midst of the chaos, Doctor Strange attempted a daring magical maneuver. He drew upon ancient and forbidden spells to create a temporary rift in the cosmic energies surrounding Galactus. The rift was designed to disrupt the cosmic balance and weaken Galactus's power. The ritual was complex and perilous, requiring precise timing and immense concentration. As Doctor Strange initiated the spell, the cosmic energy around Galactus fluctuated. The rift caused momentary instability, creating an opportunity for the Avengers to strike. Thor, seizing the moment, unleashed a concentrated bolt of lightning at Galactus, aiming to exploit the brief vulnerability created by the magical disruption. The attack had an impact, but it was not enough to repel Galactus. The cosmic entity's hunger remained insatiable, and he began to draw closer to the Earth's surface. The Avengers fought with every ounce of strength they had, their efforts a testament to their determination and bravery. Despite the mounting challenges, they continued to resist, hoping against hope that their combined efforts would make a difference. The battle reached a critical juncture as Galactus prepared to initiate the final phase of his consumption. The Silver Surfer, witnessing the devastation and the unwavering resistance of the Avengers, made a crucial decision. He chose to defy his master, using his cosmic powers to create a temporary shield around the city, buying the Avengers precious time. In the final moments of the confrontation, Doctor Strange completed his spell, creating a powerful barrier that temporarily suppressed Galactus's energy-draining effect. The combined efforts of the Avengers and the Silver Surfer created a fleeting moment of respite. Galactus, recognizing the futility of his immediate consumption, retreated, his form fading into the depths of space as he withdrew from Earth. The battle had been fierce and devastating, but the immediate threat had been averted. The Avengers, though battered and weary, had managed to stave off the cosmic catastrophe. The city lay in ruins, the scars of the battle visible in the damaged infrastructure and the shattered remnants of their defenses. Yet, the victory was hard-won and came at a great cost. Galactus's retreat marked a temporary reprieve, but the heroes knew that the cosmic threat was far from over. The encounter with Galactus had underscored the vulnerability of Earth and the need for continued vigilance against cosmic and existential threats. The Silver Surfer, having defied Galactus, remained an ambiguous figure, his future actions uncertain but potentially pivotal in the ongoing struggle. The Avengers, despite their victory, faced the daunting task of rebuilding and preparing for the next phase of their battle against the encroaching darkness. The arrival of Galactus had been a stark reminder of the vastness of the threats they faced and the unyielding resolve required to confront them. With their immediate concerns addressed, the heroes turned their attention to the ongoing challenges, their resolve strengthened by the trials they had endured. The echoes of Galactus's recent assault still reverberated through the realms, but the Avengers and their allies could not rest. As they began the arduous process of recovery and rebuilding, a new and even more dire threat emerged. The Twilight of the Gods had arrived, an event that signaled the end of an era and the potential doom of divine beings across the cosmos. The origins of the Twilight of the Gods were rooted in ancient prophecies and cosmic cycles that spanned millennia. It was foretold that such an event would occur when the balance of power among the gods and cosmic entities was disrupted, leading to their inevitable downfall. The signs of this impending catastrophe began to manifest with increasing intensity, drawing the attention of Thor and the Avengers once more. The first ominous sign was the disappearance of the Asgardian gods' divine essence. The normally vibrant and powerful entities began to weaken, their once great powers diminishing. The Asgardian seers, who had previously guided Thor through many crises, foresaw that the Twilight of the Gods was not just a threat to Asgard, but to all pantheons and cosmic entities across the universe. Thor, deeply troubled by the signs and the weakening of his fellow gods, sought to understand the nature of this new threat. He turned to the All-Father Odin, who, despite his diminished strength, remained a key source of wisdom and guidance. Odin, with his vast knowledge of ancient lore and prophecies, revealed that the Twilight of the Gods was part of a cosmic cycle designed to bring balance to the universe. It was an event where powerful deities faced their greatest challenges and often their end, paving the way for new forces to rise. To combat this existential threat, Thor gathered a coalition of gods, cosmic entities, and allies. The roster included not only the remaining Asgardian gods, such as Frigga and Balder, but also cosmic beings like Silver Surfer, who had witnessed the impact of such cosmic events, and Doctor Strange, whose magical expertise was crucial for understanding and countering the forces at play. The threat manifested in several ways. The realms began experiencing disturbances in their cosmic energies, leading to widespread chaos. Divine beings and gods across various pantheons found themselves inexplicably weakened or outright vanishing. Ancient artifacts of immense power began to lose their enchantments, and sacred sites, once centers of divine energy, were desecrated. The Avengers, working with their divine and cosmic allies, undertook a quest to find the source of the twilight of the gods. Their journey led them to various cosmic locales, including the remains of ancient realms and forgotten cosmic shrines. Each location they visited revealed fragments of the larger mystery. A cosmic entity known as the Serpent of Eternity, an ancient force of destruction whose awakening was triggering the twilight of the gods. The Serpent of Eternity was a primordial being, one of the oldest entities in existence. It had lain dormant for eons, bound by cosmic forces to prevent its destructive power from consuming the universe. However, recent cosmic disturbances and the machinations of dark forces had weakened its bindings, allowing it to awaken and exert its influence. The serpent's influence was felt in many ways. It sought to unravel the fabric of reality, causing rifts between realms and corrupting the divine essence of the gods. As Thor and his allies delved deeper into the mystery, they encountered various manifestations of the serpent's power: nightmarish creatures of darkness, cosmic anomalies that defied the laws of nature, and divine entities twisted into malevolent forms. The quest led the heroes to the edge of the cosmic abyss, where they discovered a hidden realm, a place of primordial darkness where the Serpent of Eternity had made its lair. The realm was a swirling void of chaotic energy, its very essence a reflection of the serpent's malevolence. The heroes faced a series of trials as they navigated the treacherous terrain, each challenge testing their resolve and strength. In this void, the Avengers and their allies encountered the serpent's minions, creatures born of pure darkness, capable of channeling the serpent's corruptive energy. These minions sought to impede the heroes' progress, using their abilities to create illusions and distort reality. The battles were intense, with each hero fighting against not only physical adversaries, but also against their deepest fears and doubts. At the heart of the cosmic abyss, the heroes faced the Serpent of Eternity itself. The serpent was a gargantuan entity, its form shifting and writhing as if made of the very darkness and chaos it sought to spread. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly malevolence, and its voice resonated with a chilling echo that spoke of destruction and despair. The confrontation with the serpent was both a physical and metaphysical battle. The entity's power was immense, and its attacks sought to unravel the very fabric of reality. Thor, wielding Mjolnir, fought valiantly, channeling the power of lightning and thunder against the serpent's dark energy. Doctor Strange used his mystical knowledge to cast protective wards and counteract the serpent's corruptive influence. Silver Surfer, wielding his cosmic abilities, contributed to the battle with powerful energy blasts. Despite their combined efforts, the battle against the serpent proved to be a grueling and arduous struggle. The entity's ability to manipulate reality made it a formidable opponent, and its attacks pushed the heroes to their limits. The very fabric of the cosmic abyss seemed to react to the serpent's presence, creating additional challenges and obstacles. As the battle raged on, Thor realized that defeating the serpent required more than just brute strength. It required understanding and exploiting the serpent's vulnerabilities. The key lay in the cosmic bindings that had once imprisoned the serpent, which had been weakened but not entirely broken. Thor and Doctor Strange worked together to identify the remnants of these bindings and sought to reactivate them. In a climactic moment, Doctor Strange performed an intricate ritual to restore the cosmic bindings, while Thor used Mjolnir to channel a concentrated burst of divine energy. The combined effort created a surge of power that overwhelmed the Serpent of Eternity, disrupting its ability to manipulate reality and causing it to falter. With the Serpent's influence weakened, the heroes pressed their advantage. Thor, drawing upon the full might of his divine strength, delivered a final, decisive blow. The Serpent of Eternity, unable to withstand the combined assault, was vanquished. Its form disintegrated into cosmic dust, and its influence over the cosmic abyss dissipated. The aftermath of the battle was a mixture of relief and reflection. The twilight of the gods had been averted, and the cosmic balance was partially restored. The divine entities that had been weakened began to recover, their powers gradually returning. The cosmic anomalies and disturbances began to subside, and the realms started to heal from the recent upheavals. The victory came with a profound realization. The battle against the Serpent of Eternity had demonstrated the fragility of cosmic balance and the ever-present threat of forces that sought to disrupt it. The heroes, having faced the darkest of cosmic threats, emerged with a renewed understanding of their role in preserving the cosmic order. Thor, alongside his allies, vowed to remain vigilant against future threats and to continue protecting the realms from forces that sought to unravel their existence. The twilight of the gods had been a harrowing chapter in their ongoing struggle, but it had also strengthened their resolve and deepened their commitment to safeguarding the universe. The cosmic cycle of balance and conflict continued, and the heroes stood as sentinels against the encroaching darkness. The victory over the Serpent of Eternity was a testament to their bravery and unity, but it was also a reminder of the ever-present challenges that lay ahead. The fight for the cosmic balance was far from over, and the heroes prepared for the next chapter in their epic saga. In the wake of their battle against the Serpent of Eternity, the realms were left in a fragile state of recovery. The victory had been hard-earned, but the price was high, and the cosmic balance remained delicately poised. As Thor and his allies worked to rebuild and restore order, a new, unforeseen crisis emerged, threatening to unravel the very fabric of Asgard and the pantheon of gods. The crisis began with a series of unsettling events. Divine omens and cosmic disturbances intensified, signaling a deepening of the turmoil within the divine realms. The once stable energies of Asgard began to waver, and the Asgardian gods found themselves facing a growing existential threat. Rumors and dark prophecies spoke of a cataclysm that would result in the fall of one of their own, a god whose fate was intricately linked to the cosmic upheavals. The first signs of trouble were seen when Odin, the All-Father, experienced a series of distressing visions. These visions were filled with images of destruction, chaos, and the fall of a great deity. The once mighty Odin, despite his wisdom and strength, found himself troubled and uncertain. He sought the counsel of Thor, his son, who was deeply concerned about the implications of these foreboding signs. As Thor delved into the mystery, he discovered that the source of the threat was tied to an ancient cosmic artifact known as the Runes of Yggdrasil. These runes were a set of powerful relics imbued with the essence of the World Tree, Yggdrasil, and were crucial to maintaining the balance of the realms. The runes had been stolen from their sacred resting place, and their absence was causing destabilization in the cosmic order. Thor, accompanied by a group of trusted allies, including Loki, Sif, and the Warriors 3, embarked on a quest to recover the runes of Yggdrasil. Their journey led them through perilous realms and ancient battlegrounds, each step bringing them closer to uncovering the identity of the forces behind the theft. The heroes learned that the runes had been taken by a faction of dark entities known as the Shadow Lords. These beings were ancient enemies of the gods, once imprisoned in the dark recesses of the cosmos for their attempts to seize divine power. Their release and subsequent theft of the runes were part of a larger plan to destabilize the divine realms and pave the way for their ascension. The Shadow Lords, led by a formidable entity named Nefarian, sought to harness the power of the runes to disrupt the cosmic balance and bring about the fall of the Asgardian pantheon. Nefarian was a being of immense power, with the ability to manipulate shadows and darkness. His influence over the cosmic energies was both profound and destructive. The confrontation with Nefarian and the Shadow Lords was inevitable. Thor and his team tracked the stolen runes to a hidden realm, a place of shadow and desolation where Nefarian and his minions had established their stronghold. The realm was a twisted reflection of the divine realms, filled with dark energies and corrupted manifestations of familiar cosmic entities. As Thor and his allies infiltrated the stronghold, they encountered fierce resistance from the Shadow Lords and their minions. The battles were intense, with the heroes fighting against not only physical adversaries, but also against illusions and dark magic that sought to sow confusion and despair. The Shadow Lord's ability to manipulate shadows made them formidable opponents, and the heroes struggled to maintain their focus and unity. The pivotal moment came when Thor and his allies confronted Nefarian in the heart of the stronghold. Nefarian, wielding the stolen runes, had begun to channel their power to amplify his own dark abilities. His form was enveloped in a swirling vortex of shadows, and his presence exuded an aura of malevolence that threatened to overwhelm the heroes. Thor, driven by the urgency of the situation, engaged Nefarian in a fierce battle. Mjolnir, his enchanted hammer, clashed with the dark energies conjured by Nefarian. The battle was not only a test of physical strength, but also a struggle of wills. Nefarian sought to exploit Thor's fears and doubts, using dark illusions to undermine his resolve. Despite the challenges, Thor remained steadfast. He recognized that defeating Nefarian required more than brute strength. It required understanding and countering the dark magic that fueled his power. With the aid of Loki, whose own knowledge of magic proved invaluable, Thor sought to disrupt the flow of dark energy and reclaim the runes. In a dramatic turn of events, Loki performed a daring maneuver, using his own magic to create a diversion that allowed Thor to strike at Nefarian. The battle reached its climax when Thor, channeling the full power of Mjolnir, unleashed a devastating attack that shattered Nefarian's dark aura and disrupted his connection to the runes. The confrontation with Nefarian ended in a moment of tragic sacrifice. As Nefarian fell, the destabilizing energies released by the runes caused a massive backlash. The realm of shadows began to collapse, and the very fabric of reality was torn asunder. In a desperate bid to protect his allies and prevent further destruction, Odin, despite his weakened state, intervened. Odin performed a powerful spell to stabilize the collapsing realm and safeguard the remaining runes. However, the exertion of such a powerful spell took a tremendous toll on him. The ancient All-Father, once a symbol of divine strength and wisdom, fell gravely injured, his life force diminished by the strain of his sacrifice. The heroes managed to recover the runes and return them to their rightful place, restoring some measure of balance to the cosmic order. Yet the cost of their victory was profound. Odin, the revered All-Father, lay on the brink of death, his body frail and his once immense power diminished. The fall of Odin was a moment of deep mourning and reflection for the Asgardian pantheon and their allies. The loss of such a pivotal figure left a void that would be difficult to fill. Thor, now burdened with the responsibility of leading Asgard and upholding the legacy of his father, faced the weight of the loss with a heavy heart. Asgard, though saved from immediate destruction, was left in a state of uncertainty and grief. The Avengers and their allies paid tribute to Odin's sacrifice and vowed to continue their efforts to protect the realms from further threats. The fall of Odin marked a turning point in the cosmic struggle, a reminder of the sacrifices required to safeguard the universe and the enduring resolve of those who fought to uphold its balance. In the aftermath of Odin's fall, the gods and cosmic entities faced a new era of challenges. The balance of power had shifted, and the legacy of Odin's sacrifice would shape the future of Asgard and its role in the cosmic order. Thor, now more than ever, embodied the ideals of heroism and leadership, determined to honor his father's memory and protect the realms from the encroaching darkness. The battle against the forces of cosmic chaos was far from over, but the heroes faced the future with renewed determination. The fall of Odin was a somber chapter in their epic saga, but it also served as a testament to the enduring strength and resolve of those who stood against the forces that sought to unravel the universe.